Here's the New Zealand Canadian dollar. Probably not the most traded pair, but what we see here is that the market went down, I don't know, about 826 pips. And as it was going down, it did the typical thing that you see a market do during a nice developing trend. And that is that the down moves were strong and the up moves were weak. Okay? So it's doing dun, 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 dun. So here's a down move, here's an up move. 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 Here's a down move, and now we're into an up move. Okay, so what we have here are the first thing that I look for at the end of a trend, and this is the simplest way, the easiest way, and the best way, I think, for counter trend traders to start doing this sort of thing, is to simply look for a naked forex setup. That's the easiest way to find the end of a trend. And here we actually have two, okay? One would be this Kangaroo Tail right here, which I'm not actually convinced. Let me see. And for those of you that don't know the rules of the Kangaroo Tail, I'll quickly go over them for you. But the rules are that the open and the close must be in the top third of the candle. And they're not. Okay, so it's not a Kangaroo Tail. That one is not. But what we do have immediately before it is a belt. This is what's known as a bullish belt right here. And that's a great sign that the market's going to go higher. The way that I like to trade belts, and this is like in another webinar, but essentially I like to take a buy above the high, stop loss below the low. Now, it did not trigger here on the next day. And for me, it's ideal that it would trigger the next day. But what's nice about it is, even though it didn't trigger the next day, it gave us an almost Kangaroo Tail. Not quite, because the open and the close were not in the top third of the candle. So it was just a little bit of a weak close. But other than that, it was a nice reversal setup. And the combination of the two would probably be enough for me to help wait. I didn't take this trade simply because I wasn't watching this chart. I only just put it on my new charts today. And I was really bummed I missed it. But this is how I would do it. I put my buy stop above the high right there. Okay. It's not really what doesn't want to play. Like this. Okay. What? What's going on here? Oh well, you get the idea. I don't understand why that's doing that. Okay, it's like that. Buy stop goes above the high, okay, and it's triggered on this bullish candle. Stop loss goes below the belt. Although, given the fact that I had an almost Kangaroo Tail, I probably would have put my stop loss below that Kangaroo Tail, and most likely. Now, whether or not we got triggered and stopped out, if you're trading the belt, I just don't recommend. When I trade these swing points, I like to have my stop, basically I want the market to make a new low to get me stopped out. So after this Kangaroo Tail printed, I probably would not want my stop loss below the belt. Now originally, on this day, I'd say yes, but on this day after the Kangaroo Tail, I'd say no. Okay, so what does this tell us? This tells us this is the first way of seeing the end of the trend, which is the naked forex setup. Here's another one, uptrend, pause, uptrend, Kangaroo Tail. Now, this one also didn't quite qualify as the perfect Kangaroo Tail. Why? Because the open and the close were not inside the previous candle's range right here. Okay, there's several rules to Kangaroo Tails, and people who trade other things like pin bars or whatever, or dojis or things, they don't have. It's a totally different type of setup. What I'm looking at here is specific things with this candle. Open and the close in the bottom third. The close is inside open and close are inside the previous candle's range, between the high and the low of the previous candle. And the next candle should really trade lower. We have everything here except for this close is a little bit too high. However, it's a nice spot for it to turn around. If you look, let me go weekly here. Hold on a second. 1 second. The best places that I will look for a reversal is on a zone. So look at this one right here. This is a, I don't think that qualified as a bearish big shadow. Let me just double check. Right here. Oh, that's not the one. I was looking at this one. No, the high isn't high enough. Boy, that would have been a beauty too. Here's another one. This is a price action setup where it has great space, room to the left, brilliant. Look at how this 2-candle formation has printed on a spot in the chart where the other candles haven't printed. That means it has space, room to the left, and that's really the perfect reversal. The only thing is the high on this candle is 83.99. Whoops. 83.99, and the high on this one is 84.01, so it missed it by 2 pips. But essentially, this is the type of setup. Look how it's been going up, 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 and away. And finally, with the blow off top, it gives us that. It triggers on the next candle below the low, and it just goes. That is very typical of the end of a trend. And now this right here would not. This is a Kangaroo Tail right here, but it would not qualify as a, to me, that is not an uptrend and a reversal. That's rather a downtrend with a pullback. So that was not really a reversal. Here, over here, again, we have an almost Kangaroo Tail, just barely missed because the close is not inside the previous candle. But again, it's off to the races. My good friend Colin, he was trading. I'll show you another one here. This is the daily Aussie Dollar, which I've been selling lately a lot, and Colin, he goes by Rob or Colin actually, but Colin took this Kangaroo Tail right here. Let's see if it fits. Open and close inside the previous candle. Does it have some space or room to the left? You bet, absolutely. It's got plenty of space right here. Look at that. And this much of the candle, so space is, in other words, this much of the Kangaroo Tail has printed on a unique area of the chart because look, there's no price action here at all. The market's not traded here. Look at that. That's amazing. Look, if we could just keep taking this, that's like textbook, right? Now, the next candle trades higher, the stop loss is below the low, and it goes up. So that's the simplest way to find the end of a trend, is just to simply get a nice reversal signal. Here's another one that I took right here. Market's been going down, 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 down. Boom. We get a Kangaroo Tail here, and we go up. Next candle trades above the high. It goes up, 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 and away. This was another Kangaroo Tail with a sell, but it wasn't. That's not really an uptrend. This is more of a sideways market, and we wouldn't really know that until we got to this point right here, because it's going down and then up, and then by the time we got here and started going up, we'd say, okay, maybe we're in sort of a 430 pip box, which we did end up being in.